Hey there, it's day 8 of the Inktober Tangle challenge. I'm Martha, and today we're going to have fun with the Cochombros tangle. We'll go through 2 takes on the Cochombros tangle, one that's quick and easy, and another that's a little bit more involved for when you want to stretch your creativity. So I'm starting the simple version on a bijou tile using a Pigma Micron 01 pen in black. And I'm just making a very small X. And then I'm going to add one more line through the middle of it. I'm going to connect 2 of those lines together to create a diamond shape. And I'm going to go all the way around until I have 6 diamonds. I'm now going to extend one of those diamond lines out just a little bit further. So I turn to the right and then I draw at the top of the diamond straight out. The next step's a little trickier. I'm going to be drawing a parallel line to what I just drew. So I'm going to start at the top of one of the diamonds, that one right there, and then I'm going to draw out to the right. And you'll see that it's parallel to the line below it. So top of the diamond, out to the right, it's parallel to the line below it. Top of the diamond, draw out to the right, it's parallel to the line below it. This tangle took me a few tries to learn, and this was the part that kind of tricked me up. So feel free to pause, go back, rewatch, and try again. Alright, so now I'm gonna fill or draw some triangles in these little spaces. And then I'm going to draw the end of a rectangle. So I'm turning to the right. Imagine if that line went through. We draw a triangle, and then we close off this, what looks like a rectangle on the left side. All right, turn, draw across, close off that little triangle, and then close off this rectangle. Always turning this tile. All right, so there's my line, close off triangle, and then close off the end of this rectangle. My lines never seem to line up on this tangle, but it is what it is. All right, just like that one right there. And that's all right. All right, turning, closing off this triangle. That one doesn't line up at all, but moving on, and we just go with it. Closing off this rectangle. And there we go. The hard part is done. So moving on to the shading. With all these different angles, I'm not sure if I can verbalize where to put the graphite. It might be one of those look and see situations. I'm not sure I can walk you through it verbally. Essentially, I am shading little V's at the intersection of that, or that space where the triangle and the rectangle are connected. Sorry I can't do a better job than this. This tangle certainly frustrated me, if I'm being honest, and I don't like that I can't teach it as well as I want to. It's definitely going to take some more work on my end, but even though it's challenging, I think it's always good to try something new and different, just to push the boundaries. I'm always telling my students that, so I think it's good for me to experience that as well. So Inktober Tangles 2025, and We are on day 8, Cochombros. And this was the simple version. For the more intensive version of this tangle, I'm going to use a black tile. I'm marking my 4 dots, and you'll notice that they're much closer to the center, so I'm creating a pretty large, wide border for this setup. Now I'm taking my white Jelly Roll pen in a size 10, and I'm drawing a horizontal line and then 2 diagonals for an X. I prefer the number 10 pen. I find that it flows a lot more smoothly than the smaller sizes. So I'm connecting 2 lines at a time with 2 more lines, or a V, and I'm making a series of diamonds. So you'll notice that I'm drawing these diamonds until they get to the edge of that border that I drew with the graphite pencil. I'm now going to extend one side of the diamond out a little bit past that border. That's one of the reasons why I decided to add that graphite square in the middle of the tile. It kind of helps me keep all my lines, diamonds, everything the same size. Just a little trick. So I've gone around and I've extended the line of each one of those diamonds. I'm now going to go in and draw a parallel line to that. Starting at the top of the diamond, drawing a parallel line out. Starting at the top, drawing a parallel line. Start at the top of the diamond and a parallel line. And again. And again. Now it's time to draw my triangles. So it's like I'm drawing under. Oh, and then closing off that rectangular shape. All right, so line, if it was extended under, it would connect there. And then I close off the shape below it. All right, extend, drawing underneath or behind, and then closing off. Right, I'm always turning mine to the right. I'm drawing behind, and then I'm closing off. Extending down, and then closing off the shape below. And one more. Drawing behind, creating that triangle, and then closing off the shape below. I'm now going to aura inside of each of the shapes. So I'm using my pen and drawing the same shape, just smaller on the inside. Feel free to pause this and take your time, and I will meet you when you are done. I'm now going to aura around the entire tangle. Just taking my time and turning my tile and drawing along the edge of this, what is now a very complex shape. It's definitely giving Star Wars vibes. for me. So it took me a second to figure out what I wanted to do in the background. You know, a lot of times I'll do very geometric tangles paired with very organic ones, but in the end I decided to divide the background into some different areas. So those rectangular shapes, I am drawing a parallel line to it and extending it to the edge of the tile. So you're finding those 6 large kind of rectangular shapes and extending the line, the aura line, out to the side. I'm now going to fill in each of those spaces, and I'm drawing parallel lines, and I'm just filling from left to right. Because I'm right-handed, I'm going to turn it to the left so that that ink can dry and I won't smudge it. So I'm going to the next line and I am adding parallel lines all the way to the right side of the page or tile. All right, there we go. I must say that when I finally figured out the background to this tangle, that I had an aha moment and I fell in love with it and really kind of embraced this tangle more than I had before. So, all right, let's do some shading. Going to be using a white charcoal pencil and just outlining the inner edge of all of those shapes that are part of the original tangle. So just on that inside edge. And now I'm just going to blend it in, kind of soften up that edge. I'm now going to add white charcoal to the outside of the aura. So we have this black border going around the entire tangle, and I'm just taking the white charcoal pencil and making a thicker than normal kind of charcoal line. So I'm holding it on its side, and I'm also pressing pretty firmly to get a lot of charcoal onto the paper. Just taking my tortillon and blending that charcoal into the paper to really press it into the fibers of the paper and really kind of soften up that edge. And I really like this contrast that happens here. So we have this, you know, kind of complex tangle in the middle with all these lines and shapes and angles. And then we kind of have this crisp, clean black border going around it. So it's kind of like a resting place for our eyes to take a moment. And then we are softening it up a little bit more on that outside edge because we've added all these lines behind it. But kind of that black border and now this very soft white edge really kind of allows our eyes to rest for a moment before kind of being taken on another journey with all these lines on the outside edge. If you know anything about op art, this is giving op art vibes. Check out the artist Bridget Riley if you have a moment. So there we go. a little bit more of a complex version of the Cochombros Tangle. And yeah, I've grown to love this tangle. That's it for today. Thank you again for joining me, and I look forward to seeing you tomorrow for some more tangles. All right, have a good one.